RJ Tust and Brian Holmes witnessed all of the drama of this very exciting game. They join us now live from Tallahassee. And guys, all I can say is what a game.
Unbelievable, Doug. And by the way, you mentioned Hurricane Hank. I'm totally pushing for the nickname now.
We're going with Hurricane Hank?
Yeah.
All right, I guess I could see that, how it was his debut affected by a hurricane, and he dominated. So I guess I'll go with it. I'm good with it.
Alliteration.
Yeah, I like it.
It's simple. Yep. It's effective. Let's get to these highlights. And Hurricane Hank making his first collegiate start. He goes by Hank Bachmeier on your rosters, everybody. One of the cooler traditions, I would say, in all of college football.
Osceola, Chief Osceola, riding out on Renegade. By the way, Appaloosa is what he's riding, the native horse of Idaho, the state horse of Idaho.
Oh, well, there you go. Another little fun fact for you. This wasn't a fun fact. Cam Akers to the house. The former five-star recruit gives Florida State an early lead. Robert Mahone would eventually answer back as Boise State tries to get something going on offense, but Florida State just came out of the gate blazing on offense. James Blackman goes up over the top behind the Boise State secondary. The Seminole would lead 31-19 at halftime. That's when the Boise State defense would start to wake up, though. After some poor tackling early in the game, well, that's some good tackling by Jalen Walker. Then after that, Sonatane Louis gets into the backfield. He said that he slimmed down, lost some weight this offseason so he could get after the quarterback better. He had 2 sacks today, so obviously it was effective. Then Kekala Kaniho getting into the backfield. He had 4 tackles for loss, a new career high for him. Back to some offense, though. Khalil Shakir was quiet early, but here, Hank Bachmeier tosses his first collegiate career touchdown pass to Shaq in the corner of the end zone. Then Robert Mahone up the gut for one of his 2 touchdowns. He also had a career-high 142 yards rushing. This one right here gave Boise State their very first lead of the game. They would shut Florida State down with a little bit of defense. Curtis Weaver getting into the backfield to sack James Blackman. Boise State wins 36-31 after the game. Coach Harsin raving about his young signal caller.
And what I found out about our quarterback today is he wanted to win. And he wanted to win so bad that he found a way to get that done. Well, the number one thing is toughness. We talk about that, and I really do mean that. It's not just something that we throw out there because we have to. It really is. I mean, his helmet popped off. He took shots. We protected him well, and he hung in there too long, or we didn't protect him well. It's just playing quarterback. They asked me at the end of the game, ESPN, what did I think about his performance? And I said we won. So really, that's it.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about when it comes to the quarterback position. Getting the W, and Hank is now 1-0 in his career.
1-0 and 407 yards. Just an amazing debut and audition for Hank Bachmeier. But one of the things I kind of noticed, the conditioning was supposed to be an issue for Boise State. Yeah. It was Florida State that was starting to cramp up as early as the first quarter, and it kind of hampered them the rest of the day. The kicker, 5 field goals for Boise State, kept them that close in the game, and as Harsin said, kept us feeling like we're in this thing still because they were 8 for 8 inside the 20, inside the red zone all day long, which was amazing. And that defense making adjustments at the end of the first half and then shutting them out for the entire second half.
New Boise State defensive coordinator Jeff Schmedding deserves a ton of credit. Again, he said that he just believed in his players, and eventually they started to believe in themselves, and that reflected on the field with a second half effort where they allowed less than 70 yards, and they shut out the Seminole after allowing 31 points in the first half. I got to say, I don't know how many college football games I've covered where a team scored 31 in the first half and got completely shut out in the second half. A super impressive effort there. I do want to get it back to Hank, though. You mentioned the 407 yards. That is the most ever by a Boise State quarterback making his debut. Also, the 18-point deficit that they rallied from, the largest comeback that Boise State has ever had against a Power 5 school. By the way, his 51 pass attempts, the 8th most in school history. This kid came down to Tallahassee and proved that he was worth the hype.
Yeah, and the rest of the season is only going to play out, and so we're going to see how much this win is really worth as we get even halfway through the season. We'll kind of have a better idea. But, boy, Bronco fans who are kind of like, I don't know what to expect from this game. The rest of the season, you probably have your hopes pretty high right now.
We were talking about this on the way to the stadium this morning, and that's the fact that given all that the team had been through over these last 48 hours, travel arrangements, weather delays, all of that stuff, you know what? I said it earlier on the pregame show. There were built-in excuses. Not for this Boise State football team. They pushed all of them aside. And even given all those conditions, they were able to come out here and really perform at a super high level today. And I think that now, coming back home, can't wait to get there, by the way, and out of this muggy weather. The next game at Marshall this coming Friday, Stadium should be rocking for Hank Bachmeier.
Should be rocking. 50,000 in this stadium here to watch that, and a big majority sitting right back over there for Boise State fans, and they're going home happy as well. I'm on shirt number 2, by the way.
This one dried out, using it again. Doug, it's what happens down in the South, man. You know what? You just got to prepare for everything. I will say this, though, that a lot of the Florida State people that kind of started following me on Twitter when this game was arranged, they were mocking Boise State for practicing in the indoor. They said that humidity would be nothing like it.
Right.
Well, it worked.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, 108 offensive plays and more than 40 minutes of time of possession for the Broncos offense certainly wore them out and might have had something to do with those cramps that the Florida State Seminoles were having, too.